In this video, I will be sharing tips on how to prepare for the interview process. I will cover 4 different topics: preparing for the interview, virtual interviews, common interview questions, and how to follow up after an interview. First, let's talk about why interviews are part of the recruitment process. Many people look good on paper, so the purpose of the interview is to determine if you're a good fit for the company. Can they see you working with the team or department that they're hiring for? Next, they want to evaluate your interest. Are you really interested in this position and working with the organization? They may ask questions such as, why are you interested in working at company A, to help them determine this. Lastly, the interview is a way for you to examine the company culture and decide if you want to work in this company. Did you enjoy the interactions that you had with the interviewers? What was the vibe of the organization while you were there? With virtual interviews, you won't be able to get a sense of that as much. So you can try to determine if it's a good fit for you through your interactions with the interviewers and asking good questions at the end of the interview. Before going into any interview, you want to do some research and learn more about the organization you are interviewing with. There are 4 different places you want to do your research. The first is the company's website. Check out their About Us section to learn more about the services or products they provide. Also, review their mission or vision statement. This will give you perspective about the values of an organization and if your values align with theirs. Next, do a Google search of the company and see if there's been any recent news about them. Did they recently acquire another organization, donate to an organization, or partner with different companies? Knowing the public image can also help you decide if it's the right fit for you. Next, use Glassdoor.com to learn about others' experience with the company. I'll go into this in more detail later. And lastly, check out the company's LinkedIn profile. You can see who works there and if there are any alumni from CSULB who are currently working there that you can connect with. Here's an example of what you can see on Glassdoor. You can read reviews from current and former employees about their experience. You can check out the jobs they've posted, salary and benefits information, as well as people's interview experience. It also gives you an overview of the company where you can do more research. If you click on the interviews link, it will bring you to the information about their interview process. You can see if people had a good experience at the interview, how they got the interview, and the degree of difficulty of the interview. Then, on the bottom, you will see the different positions people interviewed for. You can click on the position you are interviewing for and read more details about that specific interview process. Here's what a company's page will look like on LinkedIn. It provides a lot of great company info, but what's unique about LinkedIn is your ability to see who currently works there and who from CSULB works there. This can be a good way to reach out and network before going into the interview. Many employers are also turning to virtual interviews. Here are some things you want to keep in mind as you're preparing for the virtual interview. First, check your technology. Make sure you have the right equipment, such as a webcam, microphone, and video chat software. Also, make sure that you have reliable internet connection. I would recommend logging in at least 10 minutes early, just in case you need to download any software, and check your technology to make sure everything is working properly. Next, you want to create a set and think about what the interviewer will see. Typically, a plain white background is best. Check the lighting and place the webcam at eye level so that your head and upper torso are visible. And make sure that you dress the part. Get dressed as if you're going into the interview in person. So what should you wear to an interview? Depending on the culture of the organization and type of industry you're going into, what you decide to wear might be different. From left to right, you will see the most formal to the least formal attire for an interview. When you do your research, you can see on LinkedIn how formal people's photos are and see photos that the organization posts. If they look more business professional, then the recommendation is to wear a suit. If you're going into an industry that is more creative and less formal, something like the examples on the screen would work. Lastly, if you're applying for a part-time position, maybe something in retail, childcare, or hospitality industry, you can go more business casual, like these options. Next, I will talk about the different types of interview questions that you will most likely encounter. There are common questions, behavioral and situational questions, and then questions for the interviewer. First are common questions. These are questions that are most likely going to be asked by the interviewer in any interview. Some examples of common questions are, tell me about yourself and why you are interested in working here. How are you uniquely qualified for this position? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your weaknesses? Why should we hire you? I will go over some tips on how to answer some of these questions. One of the most common interview questions is, tell me about yourself. Most interviews will probably start with this question. The question allows the interviewer to get to know you at a high level, including relevant information about your education, work experience, extracurricular and volunteer activities, and the specific reason you are interested in this opportunity. The information you provide in this first question sets the tone for subsequent questions. And since this question is typically the first to be asked, you can be well prepared with a response that addresses the needs of the organization. Here's a structure to help your interviewers get to know you while keeping your information concise and relevant. 1. Start with a statement that affirms your appreciation for the interview and your interest in a specific position. 2. Briefly summarize your education and any relevant volunteer, extracurricular, or work experience. 3. Briefly describe one success you have had in school, an extracurricular activity, or at work. A good way to start this section is with an accomplishment I am particularly proud about. 4. End with a statement that affirms why you're interested in an internship or job with a specific organization. For example, thank you for speaking to me today about the case manager position. I am a senior human development major at California State University, Long Beach, where I maintain a 3.6 GPA. I've been balancing a part-time job with school, which has strengthened my time management skills and responsibility. On campus, I volunteer as a new student mentor, where I help first-year students get involved with student organizations. This volunteer opportunity has developed my coaching skills, which is why I applied for this workforce development position. Coaching clients to help them find a job is aligned with my talents and interests. My part-time job is with a Target store in Long Beach, a position I've held for 4 years. I currently am a service and engagement team lead, and my primary responsibilities are to evaluate the performance of my team members, coach them to ensure high customer engagement, and resolve complex customer complaints. I am pleased to say that during my time with Target, I've received Team Member of the Month award 5 times. An accomplishment I am really proud about is a presentation I made on workforce trends for school. My professor praised me for the thorough research I conducted for my engaging presentation, successfully turning complex data into usable information for job seekers. I'm really excited about bringing my skills in conducting research, making presentations, and coaching others to this case manager position. As you can see, the answer doesn't have to be very long. Most answers should be around 1 to 2 minutes. Next, to assess your true interest in the organization, they might ask, why do you want to work for us? In this case, you want to make sure you incorporate the research that you did on the organization and connect with their mission, values, or goals. For example, while researching your organization, I learned that your mission is to empower and educate local residents about their healthcare options. This is especially important to me because I've seen how misinformation or lack of information has greatly impacted the health of those in my community. I want to work with an organization that aligns with my personal goals of making healthcare accessible for everyone. One specific program I am interested in learning more about and contributing to is the Mental Health for Young Adults program you run at local high schools and universities. As a current college student, I am well aware of the stress and anxiety that college students experience, and I want an opportunity to help my classmates address mental health issues and access resources to get the help they need. This next question is always one that people dread. What is your greatest weakness? When asking these questions, employers are trying to gauge if you are self-aware and able to apply constructive feedback. Important things to remember are to avoid cliches, such as, I work too hard, I'm too nice, I can't say no, and focus on things that you are actually able to change, such as a skill. Then discuss what steps you are taking to improve this skill. For example, as I started college, one of my areas of improvement have been my presentation skills. I can get nervous before having to present in front of a large audience. Because I knew I wanted to get into a career working with people, I knew I would have to work on the skill. I challenged myself by taking a theater class and also communication classes that required presentations. This helped me create a process to prepare for presentations. I write notes and practice with classmates to prepare. Now, I feel more confident in my presentation skills, but it's still something I continue to work on. The next type of questions to prepare for are behavioral and situational questions. The behavioral question allows the interviewers to hear how you handled past situations. The idea here is that the past behavior helps predict future behavior. If you can share an example of how you successfully handled a problem or reached a goal, the interviewer is more confident that you can do that with their organization as well. A behavioral question might start with, tell me about a time, or give me an example when. The situational question gives you a hypothetical situation and asks how you would manage the situation. This question assesses your critical thinking and creativity to see if you can think quickly in the moment. A situational question might start with, what would you do if? When answering these questions, the best approach to use is called the STAR approach. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. First, think of a situation that you've been through that is similar to the question at hand. Then, discuss the task at hand. What problems or challenges arose which required you to take action? Next, share the specific actions that you took. If this was a group project, talk about your specific contributions to the situation. What skills did you use and what was your problem-solving process? Lastly, discuss the result of your work. What was the outcome of the situation and what did you learn from the situation? For example, you might get a behavioral question like this. Tell me about a time you took lead in a group project. To answer the question, start with the situation. For my communication studies course, we had an end-of-semester project where we were supposed to come up with a new marketing strategy for an up-and-coming organization. Then discuss the task at hand. We reviewed market research to identify best practices and researched what their competitors were doing in order to develop a marketing strategy. Next, talk about the action that you took. Each team member took lead on different parts of the project. I delegated tasks and created timelines to make sure we were meeting our deadlines. I also facilitated our meetings to make sure everyone's opinions and ideas were heard. And finally, what was the result of your work? Since everyone was reliable, contributed to the team, and was willing to compromise on ideas, we were able to successfully complete the project and received an A on it. This is an example of a situational question. The interviewer might ask, how would you handle a manager or superior offering you constructive criticism? In this question, start with a similar situation, such as, in my previous role as personal assistant, I was tasked with managing the creative director's schedule. Then, discuss the problem or challenge that you had to overcome. During a supervision meeting, the director asked me to take more initiative in organizing her schedule to reduce her input. Next, describe the actions you took. I took the feedback into consideration and made it my goal to be one step ahead of the director's schedule. Every evening, I reviewed her calendar for the following day, so I always knew exactly where she was supposed to be. I also focused on building relationships with other support staff, such as the meeting room assistants, to make the process of organizing meetings fast and seamless. And finally, the result of the situation. During my next supervision meeting, the creative director praised my organizational skills. As you are preparing for the interview, you should also be preparing a few examples related to the skills and qualifications they are looking for. Review the job description carefully and note the required skills, experiences, and job responsibilities. If the job description says they are looking for someone who takes initiative and learns quickly, you'll want to think of an example to share that highlights those two attributes. You also want to prepare questions that you can ask the interviewer. You'll want to prepare about 5 to 8 questions, but you will only ask 2 to 3 questions at the end of the interview. You want to prepare more questions because sometimes your questions get answered throughout the interview process, and you do not want to be left with nothing to ask. Ask questions that you cannot find the answers to online. Some examples of the questions you can ask are, what do the day-to-day responsibilities of the role look like? What do you think are the most important qualities for someone to excel in this role? What do you like best about working for this company? What is a typical career path for someone in this role? What types of skills is the team missing that you're looking to fill with a new hire? After the interview, send a thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. In the thank you email, make sure you reference something you discussed during the interview. Reiterate your interest in and qualifications for the position. Here is an example of a strong thank you letter. Dear Chris Smith, I want you to know how much I appreciate the opportunity to interview with you yesterday and meet the other members of A2Z's marketing team. The position of marketing intern seems to be a very good match for my skills, interests, and experience. The creativity and energy of everyone in the department is evident in your recent campaigns and confirmed for me that A2Z is exactly the kind of firm where I'd like to work. In addition to my own enthusiasm, I will bring to the position my strong writing skills, excellent organization skills, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. My writing background will help me to work with writers on staff and provide me with an understanding of the messaging aspects of our work. I appreciate the time and interest thus far. I continue to be very interested in the marketing intern position with A2Z. If I can provide you with any additional information or samples of my work, please feel free to contact me. I look forward to hearing from you about this position. Thank you, LB student. Interviewing can be a challenging process, but interviewing is a skill that can be learned and developed. Prepare for the interview by doing your research, reflecting on your experiences, and practicing your responses. These tips can help build your confidence and improve your interview experience. The CLA internship program is here to help you explore your career options, earn academic credit for your experience, and learn professional skills through internships. Make an appointment with one of our internship advisors to receive personalized reviews for your resume and cover letter, assistance in searching for internship opportunities, and to help you prepare for interviews. Visit our website for more resources and to schedule an appointment.